All right, folks, it looks like we are officially live. Welcome to my weekly Sunday live stream where I answer your questions. Thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate it so much. It's been a very busy week here in Nashville. I've been really busy playing and teaching a lot, and I've just been making some videos here on YouTube as well. The videos have been doing incredibly well as of late, so thank you so much for watching all of this stuff. We talked about AI and just what, in my opinion, AI is going to do to the music business, especially here in Nashville. And that video is performing really, really well. It's still doing very well. And it's definitely kind of a scary time, with the AI thing. I mean, as I talked about on that video, I think it is definitely going to change things. If you have not seen it, be sure to go and check that out. It's a great video. And it's just kind of a scary time. But let's see here. We have Caliph 5150 in the house. Says here, hey Justin, it's Michael from Denver. Hey man, what's going on? Nice to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate that. Good to see you. Long time no see. Hope all is well. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. These live streams are always about you guys and whatever you guys want to get out of these. So anything that you guys want to know, feel free to just ask away there. I really appreciate everybody supporting me so much. Seriously, it really means the world to me. I've gotten so many emails from people just so excited about my own music and just so excited about these videos. And I've had a couple people share their own music with me, which is pretty cool. And I just really appreciate everybody's support so much. This community is just awesome. So we also have Ty in the house. Hey, Ty, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, hey, Justin, good to see you as always. Good to see you as always as well, Ty. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. But, yeah, folks, these videos have been doing really well as of late. And, I was just talking about the AI thing, and it's a really scary time, but I think ultimately at the end of the day, that real human raw emotion that you get when you work with real humans, with real musicians, that is just something that is not replaceable. And I think AI will never, ever be able to get that kind of emotion and that kind of feel within a track, because AI always has to reference something, They have to reference what has already been done. So I think also getting something very original is going to be very, very difficult with the AI tools that are out there. So no matter how good the technology gets, I don't think that the raw emotion will ever be a part of the track. And also, it's just not really going to be very original sounding because, again, AI has to reference all of this music that has already been created. So... but who knows, Let's see here. We have a DMC 549 in the house. What's going on, man? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, Justin, really love the channel and the content. Got a question. What is the best possible way to get a good tone in a quiet room? I got a baby and want to play, but getting tired of playing electric unplugged. Good question, man. There's a couple ways. I mean, it's a little bit difficult. I mean, really in a situation like that, I would honestly recommend the digital solutions that are out there. If you wanted to get like a Kemper or something like this, that probably would be a really good option. Just because you can get some solid sounds happening at a very low volume. I mean, basically whisper quiet if you wanted. And I think it's just kind of cool because you have all of these effects and all of these, amp models that you can select from with this digital platform. So I think really in a situation like that, that would be really good. I also would recommend the Universal Audio Apollo Twin, which is it's an audio interface. And what's really cool is that they have plugins that are available where you can actually, use like a Marshall Plexi plugin, or you could use, they have all kinds of different amp models on there. I mean, they just have tons of them. And of course, you do have to buy the actual plugins, so that is an extra cost. But it's great, man. You can literally plug your guitar right into it, and you can use these amp models. So that could also be another solution where if you just played through headphones or if you wanted to play through studio monitors at a very quiet volume, that could work out really well. So I probably would recommend like some kind of digital solution at that point, just because a tube amp, when you're playing down low, it just doesn't sound as good as when you have it up to like 5 or 6 on the volume. That to me is just the ultimate tone. So that's really what I would recommend. So probably just a Kemper or, gosh, there's so many solutions out there now. It's crazy. You have the Kemper, you've got the Universal Audio Apollo, you've got the Quad Cortex. That would be another one that could be good because that Universal Audio, not the Universal Audio, the Quad Cortex could also serve as a audio interface as well. So that could also be a really good solution. There's so much stuff out there now. It's just crazy. And that's honestly what I would recommend, with trying to play it at a lower volume. That's really the ultimate, to be honest. Just get some kind of digital solution and just use that. So, but let's see here. DMC says here, thank you. I have a Quad Cortex and I use that sometimes with headphones. Yeah, that's perfect, man. That's all you need. Really for playing at that low of a volume, you really shouldn't be that concerned about a great sound. Just play, man. Just practice. Don't really focus in so much on programming or dialing up stuff. Just get playing. Man, I use little practice amps all the time whenever I'm personally practicing. I'm not always playing through my tube amps, and I love tube amps, but I think there is definitely something to be said about having these digital solutions. They are great tools. They really are. They're great for practice. You can bring them out to a gig, and they're very small, they're very portable, very lightweight. So, and they're also very consistent, And man, I tell you, like a lot of the sounds right out of the box are just great, And really for me, that's why I spend so much time dialing in my instruments. I always want to make sure that the pickups sound right, the hardware is right, just the instrument in general just sounds good and it's very stable. That's what really matters the most. Really when it comes to these amps and these digital solutions, of course, like a great old Marshall Plexi is going to sound amazing. There's just no denying it. But man, if that instrument is not right, it doesn't matter, man. You could have the 68 Marshall Plexi. You could have all of these amazing amps and all these speakers and all this stuff. It really doesn't matter, man. That instrument is still going to shine through. And, that's why just, in my opinion, it's so important to have the instrument really perfect. Because you could really take this instrument, like I think about my R9, or I think about my 64 SG, or I think about any one of my guitars that I have, I could plug this thing into a UA Apollo Twin and use the plugins, and it's actually going to sound good. So that's the thing. To me, the instrument is just everything. It really doesn't matter when it comes down to it with these amps. Of course, it is a part of it for sure. Having a great old Plexi, like a great pinstripe cabinet like this, it sounds awesome. But again, it's so important to just have that instrument dialed in because it really doesn't matter. If that instrument's not dialed in, forget it, man. It's not going to sound good. But let's see here. We have the Art of Blues in the house. Hey, man, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, had an epiphany moment in tone recently. I always used reverb, and I just tried playing without it the other day, and there's just so much tone there. I feel like an idiot. Yeah, man, that's the thing. I've never been a reverb guy, ever. I've never, ever been a reverb guy. It's so many players use so much reverb, man. It does not sound good to me. And really with playing live, you're already going to get reverb from the room itself, so it's not really necessary in my opinion. If you wanted reverb for like this big wash and this particular effect, I could understand that, but just to have an always on reverb or something, a very light amount, I just don't really see the point in that. I would much rather play dry, like through a Marshall Plexi just turned up, and then just get the reverb from the room, That's much, much better. I mean, there's no point to have a reverb pedal, really, in my humble opinion. Really, the only time that I personally use reverb is if I need like some kind of a really long reverb, like I was saying, like some kind of a wash or some kind of a particular effect. That's really the only time that I actually use reverb. So that's just for me. But for me, I grew up playing Marshalls, so for me, like, no matter what amp I plug into, whether it's a deluxe reverb, if it's a Vox, whatever kind of amp it is, I'm always trying to get that Marshall Plexi sound, because it's just, to me, that's just what I go to every single time. That's what I grew up playing. It's what I like. It's what I prefer. And it just doesn't matter. No matter what amp I play, no matter what digital solution I use, I'm always trying to get it to sound like a Marshall Plexi. That's just it, man. To me, it's no reverb, totally dry with a Marshall and a Les Paul or an SG. That's just, to me, what I love. That's the sound that inspired me to play. And to me, that's just how I always vision a guitar sounding, every single time. It's just that combination. It's just perfect. So, yeah, I think a lot of players use way, way too much reverb, and what happens is when you use that much reverb, especially in a live situation, the guitar really gets lost. It just gets buried because there's so much reverb. You've got the reverb coming from the pedal, and then you've got reverb from the room, like I was saying. So you start mixing all of this reverb together, and the guitar just gets lost, So that's why I personally really don't like reverb. But thanks so much for being here, everybody. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I hope that everything looks and sounds okay on this live stream. I've been experimenting with my camera position here for the live stream. I moved it recently for my lessons just because I like this particular angle a little bit better. It seems like you can see a lot more whenever I'm playing, and it just seems to look a little bit better and seems to work a little better for the lessons. But this is really my second time doing this with the live stream. So let me know what you guys think. I can always move it around. I'm kind of experimenting with all of this stuff, but hopefully it looks and sounds okay. But yeah, I've just been busy, folks, teaching a lot. I've been posting these videos. I talked about AI and the effect it's going to have on the music business, especially here in Nashville. And I've just been keeping busy, man, just doing this stuff, just making videos and playing a bunch. So just kind of doing the same old, which is not a bad thing. It's cool. If you guys do want to support me, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me here on the channel. I offer one-on-one online lessons. I have a Venmo and a PayPal tip jar. And I've also got a Sweetwater affiliate link, which people have been buying gear through, which is really cool. I just get a small little commission off of the sale. It doesn't cost you guys anything extra whatsoever. So if you guys are interested in buying some kind of gear, whether it's a deluxe reverb, if it's a Nobles ODR1, if it's a Marshall Plexi, whatever you want, I just get a small little commission as long as you click the link down below in the description box. So it doesn't cost you guys anything extra whatsoever. It's, if you're already going to be buying some kind of gear, it's a great way to support me. But let's see here. DMC says here, let's see, Justin, how do you balance learning to play fast licks and runs with practicing melodic playing and phrasing? Good question. I don't really spend a lot of time practicing the fast licks, Whenever I'm playing fast, I normally like to pick every single note. I just think it sounds a little bit better. You can really hear every single note as you are playing fast, I don't really play legato anymore. I used to when I was a kid, but I don't really practice. I don't really play a lot of legato style guitar anymore, just because, again, I do prefer every single note being picked. So I would say when you're trying to practice that, just play it really slow and just work on picking every single note and really take it slow, and then eventually just speed it up, go faster and faster and faster, And that's just really how you get good at doing that stuff. It just takes time. You got to really spend the time and really take it slow. A lot of guitar players try to, play fast, and they don't work on really getting the tone and the sound right. They're more focused in on just trying to play fast to try to show off, and it doesn't sound good. So you really want to spend the time to work on the tone of each individual note. How are you grabbing that fret? How are you picking that note? What does that sound like? And that's so important to really focus in on the tone of each individual note. Really, really important. And then as far as melodic playing and phrasing, this is all stuff that I'm just hearing in my head. So at this point, I hear melodies and lines in my head. And because I know the sounds, I know the notes in my head, I can very easily get it out on the board because I know where these notes are. So it's really a combination of knowing the fretboard. It's a combination of your ear and what you're hearing. That's a huge part of it. And everybody's hearing is a little bit different. I have a very good set of ears, very good, better than most, So I just hear these melodies and these ideas in my head. And that's how I come up with all of this stuff, There's a little bit of music theory knowledge as well that you could learn, that I do teach all the time within my lessons, and I teach ear training. I teach all of this stuff, literally everything that we're talking about here. I go into much further detail on what to do and how to practice it and how to get better at this. But this is all just really crucial stuff, It's really knowing the fretboard. It's developing your ears so that you're hearing these lines. You can hear these notes. And it's a little bit of technique and theory. So it's really a combination of all of these things together. And, that's what I would say to that. So really, with practicing, you got to take it slow, man. Really take it slow. Guitar players try to, jump ahead, man, and they just want to try to show off, and they want to try to play fast, So it's just not ideal. But let's see here. The Art of Blues says here, looks good. Is there a light on your face, or is that sunlight? A lighting setup pointed at you would be cool, but not a big deal. Yeah, I've actually got a couple lights here. For whatever reason, though, I do look like really white. I don't know what's up with that, but yeah, these lights are pretty bright for sure. But it's always I'm always trying to tweak this setup. It's never like perfect to me. But I'm just trying to work with what I've got. I've got a really small space here in my studio. I just don't have very much room. And to be honest with you, I'm just not like a video expert. I know recording guitars and recording music. I know that stuff well. But, man, when it comes to video and lights and all this stuff, I got to tell you, man, I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's definitely been a learning curve for sure, man. I've had to really, really learn this for sure. But I'm really happy with this camera, though. I think it does look pretty good, actually. So, but yeah, it was just tough because before, where I had my camera, you could see the whole back of my studio with all the amps and everything, which looked really cool. But then whenever I would go in to go teach somebody, my camera would be like blocking the screen, so I couldn't really see my student as well. I'd have to like look straight ahead at the computer screen. I have the studio display, and it just looked weird. So it was like, it just always bothered me. So I was like, I'm gonna try this out and see how it goes. But so far so good. I think it really helps a lot with the lessons because I can really see everybody and see the whole screen. But yeah, folks, if you guys want to support me, check out all of the links down below in the description box. I offer one-on-one online lessons. Take your guitar playing to the next level. Hit me up. My email is jkm4231@gmail.com. It's linked down below in the description box. I also have a Venmo and a PayPal tip jar. And you could also throw a super chat here in today's live stream if you'd like. Any and all support is really appreciated. I don't make anything on these live streams whatsoever. It's a total donation of time. I just do this because I love showing my support to all my fans out there, and I just really appreciate you guys watching this stuff so much. You know, it's just amazing what this has turned into. You know, my latest video on AI has got like almost 3,500 views now at this point, and you know, it's just wonderful. And I'm also really happy that I broke into the 7,000 subscribers now. I just broke 7,000, which is really cool. And this is a totally legit following too, by the way, folks. Not a fake following like you see so much here on social media. There's so much smoke and mirrors with social media and so much BS out there. It's just amazing. You know, you'll see some of these channels and they supposedly have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but they have, you know, 500 views or 800 views in their videos. So I don't know, man. To me, that just seems a little odd. It's a little strange to me. So I got to say, man, I'm really happy with this community. I'm so happy with this channel, and I cannot do this without your support. So again, thank you for this so much. But anyways, folks, you know, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I'd be happy to answer. I've just got another busy week coming up here. I'm going to be doing the same old, really, just teaching a lot. And got some more videos coming up, so stay tuned for all of that. I've been really happy with my instruments as of late. I picked up this Sir Classic S that you guys may have seen in my recent video. It's just a really great Strat. I really like it a lot. I sold off my 64 Strat, which I love that guitar, and I miss that guitar so much. But, you know, I ended up selling it, and, you know, I got this Sir, which is cool. And, you know, I'm not like a really big Fender guy. I'm more of a Gibson guy. I really like Les Pauls and SGs and 335s. That's just kind of more of my style as a player. But you know, I needed to have a Strat, you know, just for the music that I play. And, you know, it's just a sound, you know. It's a great sound, you know. Those three single coils, it's definitely a sound, and it's something that I need for sure. So ended up getting that, and I really prefer the Rosewood board with the single coil guitars. I think that the single coil guitars just need that rosewood to kind of roll off the top end a little bit. It just, I just think personally with the maple board, it's just a little too bright. It's a little too much with the single coil guitars, or I mean the pickups. So, you know, the rosewood board's great with the Strat style guitar, but you know, I've been really digging it, man. It's cool. Let's see. Diablos Incarnate. Hopefully I said your name right there. Sorry, man. It says here, show your guitars, please. I wish I could. I mean, I guess I could grab a couple and share with you guys here what I've got. My guitar rack is off of the camera. But yeah, I've got a bunch of guitars. I can show you some cool ones. Hold on. I'll be right back. Here's the first one here. This is a really cool guitar. This is a 100% original SG. This is a 64 SG in particular, which is really the best year for the actual SG guitar, in my humble opinion. The neck profile is just absolutely perfect. Here, I'll hide that comment. Here we go. Or we got CZ in the house too. Hey, what's going on, CZ? Thanks so much. I clicked that by accident, but thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. But let's see here. Yeah, so this is a 64 SG, really cool guitar. It's 100% mint, super nice, no heel repair, and the neck on this is just absolutely amazing. The profile is incredible. 2 patent number pickups, which I absolutely love. These are my favorite pickups by far. I just think they're absolutely amazing sounding. And this ABR, I have some old metal saddles that I put on this bridge. I do have the nylon saddle ABR one. That's on another reissue SG that I have. But I just think I prefer the metal saddles a little more for the SG especially. I think it's just a little bit better, a little more sustain. It's brighter. It's just more of what you want out of an SG compared to the nylon saddles. But I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on that. But this is just a really great guitar. You know, it's just the perfect weight, really perfect neck. The pickups are amazing. It's 100% original. It just sounds awesome. This is just a kick-ass guitar. So yeah, totally 100% original 64 SG. Really, really great guitar here. So super nice. Grab another one here. This is also another great guitar that I really like a lot. This here is a 64 335. That's really great. Um, this is just an amazing guitar. I mean, the neck just feels amazing. The pickups again are just to die for. These also have the pad number pickups, which I really like. Again, they're just my favorite pickups. So 64 was just such a great year for Gibson and for Fender too, by the way. It's just an amazing year. So this is a really cool guitar. This is 64. It's just a really, really special guitar. The neck feels amazing. And, this guitar, man, I would put this thing up against any 59 any day of the week. When I bought this guitar, I was comparing it with a Mint 64 Cherry Red 335. And I just thought that this guitar just blew it out of the water, man. It was a night and day difference. It just sounded so much better. This guitar has faded a bit, as you can see. The sunburst, the red is gone, and that would be just from the UV light and just from the sun shining on this guitar. So it was most likely probably in like a glass window or something where the sun was always shining on it. So you can tell that the red is all gone on the front. But on the back here, you can see here that it's still red. The red is still there. So super nice. And the neck is just amazing on this thing. It's not flaking off. It's not, effed up or nothing. It's in very, very good condition. And I'm really a stickler on that. The neck really has to feel good. Your hands spend so much time on this neck that, man, if it's ever been sprayed or if it's, there's a bunch of chips and there's a bunch of dings in it and stuff, that just drives me nuts whenever I'm playing this thing. So the neck just has to feel right. It really does. And that's what I love with this guitar. It's in very good condition. There's no spray. There's no BS with it. So it's just a really, really great guitar. I just love this thing. Perfect weight. It's like 8 pounds exactly, which is just absolutely perfect for a 335. And the 335s in general, you could really do just about anything with this guitar. You could play rock, you could play blues, you could play country, you could kind of do whatever you want. It's just a really, really kick-ass guitar. So really lucky to have this one. And I also have a reissue 335 that I thought about selling. It's just such a different guitar, compared to this thing. But it's also, nowhere near the price. So, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn. It's really hard for me to sell stuff, I've actually downsized a lot, man. I went down, I consigned a bunch of guitars over at Carter Vintage. And I'm selling a 66 Tele. I'm selling the 61 335, which I love that guitar too. It really hurts me to sell that stuff. I would love to keep it, but I'm just trying to raise money for my record, and it's going to cost me a lot to do all that. So that's why I'm selling off some stuff. But still have some pretty cool instruments that I'm still playing and still rocking. So happy to have all this stuff. But again, here is my 64 335. Really awesome guitar. But yeah, that's pretty much that there. So, those are just some of the highlights. I mean, I have a bunch of other guitars. I mean, I have a bunch of reissue stuff that I've modified, where, I've changed out all of the hardware and all the pickups and all that stuff. So, those are really cool guitars as well. But I take those out on the road. I have been taking my vintage stuff out as well, which is cool. But it's just always one of those things. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking, taking out something so expensive. But, this stuff's got to be played. Let's see here. Where the hell was I? Um, I don't know what that means. Let's see. Art of Blues says here, do you have any Les Pauls with just a wraparound like the early 50s Les Pauls? They have a more open sound to me, which is cool for blues music. Yeah, man, I would love to have one. That would be really cool. It's definitely a tone and a sound for sure. It's very different. Um, for me, I love the ABR one. I love that sound so much. It's just such a wonderful sound, and I think the ABR one has a huge part and it plays a huge role in the overall tone of these vintage guitars and even the reissue guitars. Depending on that material and depending on what that ABR one is made of, it really, really makes a huge, huge difference. I'll actually grab another guitar here. I can share with you guys here. This is just a straight up reissue Pelham Blue SG. And like I was saying when I was showing my 64 SG, I put this ABR1, which I know for a fact, or here, I'll hide this. I know for a fact that this bridge came off of my 64 SG. And man, it's just amazing what a difference that this bridge made with this guitar. It just made such a huge difference. It's so much brighter and more open sounding. And just for me, I love the way that sounds. That ABR1 is just, it's such a huge thing. And, if you compare the ABR1 to the Nashville bridge, it's a very, very different sound, but the standalone just wraparound tailpiece, like you're talking about here with those early 50s Les Pauls, it definitely is a sound. It totally is. It's a different sound compared to the ABR1 with the stop tailpiece. So, yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to have one. And, I also have this theory that the gold on those early 50s and, just gold tops in general have a different sound. They have a different tone compared to the burst Les Pauls. And I tell you, man, I've played a lot of 57 gold tops and have compared them with a 59 or a 60 burst. And I tell you what, man, the gold top almost every time sounds better to me than a lot of those bursts. There's something about the finish. I don't know what the hell is going on with it. I don't know if it's a little bit of a different process in how they apply the gold or if there's something in the gold in the finish. But it just makes a huge difference. It really, really does. That finish, there is something about that fucking gold that is just amazing. I don't know what the hell is up with it. But yeah, I would absolutely love to have one, especially for blues music. Oh man, you cannot beat those. Let's see. DMC says here, do you ever use the rounded edge of the pick or only the sharp end? That's something I do experiment with. I normally just use the sharp end, but it is definitely a different tone if you use the edge, It's definitely very different. So, I kind of experiment. It kind of just depends, again, on what I'm hearing, All of this stuff just depends on what you're hearing, It's all about what you are hearing. It's all about this ear training, and learning what you like and the sounds that you like. And I trust my ears so much because they are so good. They tell me everything, if I need to use the edge of the pick or the sharp end of the pick, or if I need to play this, if I need to do this, my ears tell me everything. So that's really how I decide between using the sharp end or the rounded edge. Just really kind of depends. Let's see. Not gonna answer that. Here we go. We have Godson in the house. Hey man, what's going on? Good to see you. Says here, good morning. That 64 verse 61 335. I would go with the 61, but I would love to own both. Yeah, man. They're both great. They're really good. That 61 is special, man. That guitar is insanely good. It's insanely good. The PAFs just sound amazing. The neck was great. That's just a really special guitar, man. And it's also rare because it's a cherry finish compared to the Sunburst. The Sunburst that year, they made a lot more of them. So, It's so hard to choose one. I mean, they're both so great, Um, I mean, the neck on the 64 is a little bit different in comparison to the 61. But man, the neck on that 61 was great. I mean, it's basically that profile is basically the exact same as a 59 335, a later 59 335, I should say. People obsess with having the 59 335, but all of that stuff is just internet bullshit. That's what it is. It's all online BS. If you're getting an early 59 that has like a 58 spec neck, I could see that, being cool, but it's also way more expensive for an early 59 compared to a 61. You can find a 61 335 for much less compared to an actual 59 335. And to me, with the 61, what I love with that guitar so much is they go to the short magnets that year with the PAF pickups, and I think they just sound so much better in comparison to the long magnet PAFs. Those long magnet PAFs are so overrated, man. They really are. I mean, there's some that sound good, that are really magical, that are great, but I tell you, man, a lot of those pickups do not sound very good. They're very woofy. There's tons of low end, and I think back in those days, they were still trying to figure out everything. It was all so new. And man, in 61, when they go to the short magnets, that's when they really got it. They really, really figured it out. So just for me, I prefer that year because of the pickups, and the neck to me feels great. It's very easy. It's very fast. It's very easy to play. It just feels great, So it's a killer guitar. The 64 is awesome too, man. I mean, I can't really choose one, man. They both are just killer. They sound great, man. They both sounded amazing. So, really, really hard to choose one. Both were just amazing guitars. And since we're talking about 335s, that is really the guitar where I noticed just such a huge difference when you compare the reissues to the vintage ones. The reissue 335s are just nothing like the vintage ones. They're not even close. They're just not even close. I mean, it's like they're just completely off, completely different guitars. And, the 335 is a very hard guitar to make. It's very difficult. And that's why nobody really tries to attempt to make a 335, because it is so hard to make. Everybody and their brother makes a Strat or a Tele, because they're very easy to make in comparison to a 335. It's just a very difficult guitar to make, and even Gibson, in my opinion, still cannot make it right. It's nothing like the vintage ones. It's just a really, really special instrument. Let's see. I don't know, it's like some spam here from this guy. Let's kick him out of here. I don't know what the hell he's saying. He's maybe on drugs or something. Let's see. Gosson says here, I tried Greg Golden's Bizarre Guitars Owner 54 Les Paul converted to a 57, and man, the best Les Paul I've tried so far. Unfortunately, they are crazy expensive. Yeah, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. I mean, I don't know, with it being a conversion, that should really drop the price down a lot, so it should be a lot cheaper. But man, people ask crazy money, I mean, I know of a 57 Gold Top that less than a year ago I played, and man, this guitar was just amazing. It was incredible. The top had been refinished, but everything else was great, was fine with the guitar. It was all like PAFs, the original harness, the original keys, everything. No brakes or nothing. Just the top only had been refinished, and they were asking 75 grand. And I just seen it listed just the other week, and now they're asking like 175 grand. I mean, it's just kind of nuts. I mean, to me, there's no way I would pay that much for that, with the top only refin. I mean, 75 grand, it's kind of like maybe, I mean, because it's such a great guitar. I mean, that guitar was amazing, man. It played and sounded amazing. It was great. And, but man, I tell you, like 175K, hell no. That's way, way, way too much money. But I'm convinced, man. I think there is something about the gold. There's something that goes on with the finish, man. I don't know what the hell it is. And they just sound different compared to bursts. I tell you, man, there's something about it. I don't know. And especially those vintage ones, man, with how much it's aged, the old wood, the old finish. There's something about it, man. It's weird. I've compared so many of those guitars with a burst. And don't get me wrong, like the bursts are cool and they sound fine, but man, it's like the gold tops, 95% of the time sound better. They just do. So I think it would be cool to find one with like a headstock repair that would be a lot cheaper. And there's also a whole theory with that too, where it's like if the guitar has a headstock break, a lot of people think that it actually sounds better because the headstock broke. But the thing is that I get nervous with those guitars is, back in the day when they would repair those headstocks, they would spray the shit out of these necks. And man, back then they would use some of that real thick spray on the back of these necks. And man, I can feel it right away when something's been sprayed, man. It just does not feel right. It does not feel good. And to me, the neck just has to feel right, man. If it has that heavy spray, I don't like it at all. It just drives me nuts. But hold on a second here. I'm going to put this guitar back. Well, let's see here. Art of Blues says here, dude, 11 million for the Grateful Dead guitar. Who has that kind of money? Yeah, it's wild. It is wild, man. It is wild. People are buying, man. It's crazy, and it just goes to show you that people are still buying, vintage guitars. They're spending $11 million on the Grateful Dead guitar. I mean, David Gilmour's Strat sold for 14.5 million, I think it was, if I remember right. So it's just incredible. The amount of money that is out there is just incredible. I mean, people just have money, man. I don't know where they get it, but man, it is incredible. Let's see here. We have Jody in the house. Hey, Jody, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here. It says here, I love the clean tones, a good SG. What do you do for neck dive? Man, I mean, there's not really much you can do. Not all SGs have the neck dive. You just have to find the right one. Both of my SGs are very balanced. My 64 is actually 8 pounds. So it's actually a little bit heavier for an SG, but I really like it because it's just a very balanced guitar and it feels really good to me. It reminds me of like a burst, that's basically about the same weight that you would see on a burst. Maybe a burst would be a little bit heavier compared to the SG, but yeah, there's not really much you can do. I mean, if the body is diving down on a guitar, you could add like a little weight. Fender used to make one. I actually have one in one of my guitar cases. I can't remember what the hell they called it. But basically, it's just something that attaches to the headstock, and it just adds a little bit of weight to the actual neck itself, and it just balances it out, But yeah, I mean, there's not really much you can do with a neck dive. I just would say try to find the right SG, That is definitely something to look out for sure, because a lot of them do have it, so you just got to find the right one. But let's see here. Godson says here, what do you think about Collings LC35 guitar, the 335 style guitar? Man, I tell you, Collings makes some amazing stuff. They're just an amazing brand. I mean, I think they make really good acoustics. I think their 335s are cool. Are they the vintage Gibson 335s? No, they're definitely not, in my humble opinion. But that said, they are a very stable instrument. They are cool. They play great. I think Collings makes some really, really good stuff, and especially their acoustics. Their acoustics are just amazing. They're really cool. I actually want one really badly. I really want the OM2H. That particular model I think would be just absolutely perfect. There's actually one on Reverb right now that has a cutaway, and I was like, man, I'm like really kind of jonesing for it, but it's just pricey, man. It's so expensive. It's just crazy to me how expensive acoustic guitars have gotten. It's just nuts, just nuts. But yeah, I think Collings makes a great instrument, man, for sure. They're really good, man. Their fretwork's really tight. The neck feels the neck feels great. I mean, again, is it an actual vintage 335? No, definitely not. But it's cool. But yeah, folks, if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to ask away there. If you guys would like to support me here on the channel, check out all of the links that I have down below in the description box. There are many ways you can support me here, and I truly need your support to continue on doing these live streams. It really means the world to me. Any and all support, if you want to throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really, really appreciated. This is truly a donation of time. I don't make anything on this whatsoever. So if you guys would like to support me, throw a little love in the Venmo tip jar or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream. I do also offer one-on-one online lessons. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. My email is jkm4231@gmail.com. Let's see here. Jody says here, do you have thoughts on tone wood? Yes, I do, definitely. The wood really matters. It really does. No matter what YouTuber says, they're just full of shit. To be honest with you, they just are. The wood really makes a difference. If you use an ebony board for the fretboard, that's going to have a very particular sound. If you use a rosewood board, that's going to have a very particular sound. All of that stuff really matters. The wood really matters. And it's really interesting with guitars because sometimes when they go in to glue that neck into the body, sometimes just for whatever reason, the neck just does not work well with that body. It's like the wood just communicates and it just doesn't work for whatever reason. It's the weirdest thing. It's like just for whatever reason, it just does not work well, and it all starts with the wood, and then from there, it's the hardware, then the pickups, and the wiring harness, the particular pots and the caps that you have in there. All of that stuff matters. Everything affects everything with electric guitar. If you have an ebony fingerboard, it's going to be a much brighter sound, whereas the rosewood is going to take down the top end. It's going to have that roll-off in the top end. And, I normally prefer a rosewood board just in general. But the ebony board can also be really cool if you're doing a lot of like drop tunings, or if you're doing like drop D kind of stuff where you want a little bit more detail. That's where I really like the ebony board. But yeah, the wood really, really matters for sure. I could go on and on about it. The wood makes a huge, huge difference. But let's see here. We have a Venmo tip here from Sean. Thanks so much, Sean. Really do appreciate that. The Venmo tip, that really helps out a lot. And let's see here. We have CZ here with the heart emoji. Thanks so much, CZ. Appreciate it. And Jody says here, Swamp Ash. Yeah, that's a cool sound for sure. I know a lot of people like that with Telecaster. I'm not really too particular with the Telecaster. It just has to be just a good sounding guitar. I think really at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what woods are actually on the guitar, or what they use to build a guitar. If it sounds good, it's good. It doesn't really matter, really at the end of the day. Again, rosewood and ebony have a very particular tone for sure. But, it's just, kind of like, just one of those things. It doesn't really matter. If the thing sounds good, it just sounds good. There's nothing else to worry about. So I think sometimes some players can get so caught up on the woods and the pickups and all this shit with the guitars, and I get it because all that stuff does matter, but it's just really at the end of the day, it's all about just playing, and if this guitar inspires you, just play it. Don't worry about what some YouTuber said, or don't worry about what wood it's made of. Don't worry about the pickups. Just play the fucking thing. Let's see here. We have CZ with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much, CZ. Appreciate that. She says here, proud of your progress and efforts, Justin. Thank you. Really appreciate that, CZ. Seriously, you've been a long-time supporter, so I really do appreciate that. And yeah, folks, I just recently broke 7,000 subscribers, which I'm really proud of. This is a totally legit following, not some bullshit, social media following. Everybody and their brothers supposedly has all these subscribers, all these followers, and then you take a look at their posts and they get maybe a couple hundred views on YouTube, or they get 5 likes on Instagram or something, and it's like, I thought you supposedly have hundreds of thousands of followers. Something just is weird. And I think with social media, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's just a lot of bullshit out there. And, I'm really proud to say that this is a 100% real following that I have built one at a time. There are no shortcuts in the music business. There are no shortcuts. For me, I have built this up one at a freaking time. And it's taken time. I've had to get better at doing the videos and doing all this camera stuff. I've had to learn a lot about this stuff. Which even right now I'm still experimenting with this. I'm trying out this new camera position here for the live stream. So hopefully it all looks and sounds good. I never really know until I actually do this, but it seems like everything is good and people are happy with it. So we've had a great crowd here today. CZ here with the yeah and a heart emoji. And Godson says here, and that's why when Justin plugs the SG straight into that Pro Junior, it sounds amazing. You can play, man, which is more important than gear. Thank you, Godson. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's so true, man. It's all about the playing, it doesn't matter, really, once you have that instrument dialed in and you can really play it, you really know that instrument inside and out, it doesn't matter, man. You could plug in a Pro Junior, which sounds great. I love that amp. I could plug into a Deluxe Reverb. I could plug into a Marshall. It really just doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the playing and it's all about the instrument. That to me is the most important thing. And I think so many players obsess with, the woods of the guitar or the circuit of the amp or, cables and pedals and all this shit. And like that stuff is all fun. It's all cool and it's great and everything. But it's like, who cares about that shit? Just play. I think just with YouTube and the internet, people have just obsessed with this stuff. And, man, it just really doesn't matter at the end of the day, to be honest with you, man. Like, I love collecting gear. It's a lot of fun. It's a hobby. It's something cool. But really at the end of the day, man, it doesn't matter. As long as I have a tuner and some kind of amp, no matter what it is. A Kemper, a Pro Junior, whatever. I really don't care. I can make it work. It does not matter, really, So it's really sad, I think a lot of players just don't really think about their playing anymore. They're more concerned with the gear and the tone woods and this and that. And again, that stuff is somewhat important, but it's not really at the end of the day. It really doesn't matter, Man, just focus in on your playing. I talk about it all the time, but my first guitar, really my first real guitar, was a Les Paul Studio. That at that time, that was pretty much the only guitar that was like budget friendly, that was actually decent, that you could actually play. When I had my Strat copy, it played so bad, it was so terrible, and it was not inspiring to play. So it just made me not want to practice because it played so terribly. But man, like when I got that Les Paul Studio, it changed everything because it was like, wow, I could really actually play, And again, like I wasn't concerned that it has a Nashville bridge. I wasn't concerned about the pickups or the electronics or whatever. I was just more concerned of, okay, can I actually play the thing? That's how I thought about it back then. I never really thought about, oh, I need to have a Marshall or, these pedals or whatever, you know. I mean, I just had that guitar and I just used whatever, you know. And of course, when I did get my Marshall, it did really inspire me, you know, because I love that sound. And when you crank it up, you get that amp in a room experience, you get that feel and that vibe. There's just nothing like it, you know. And that's why I still love tube amps, you know. I think the digital solutions have come a long, long way, you know, especially these Kempers now. I mean, they're just sounding amazing, you know. But the big thing with them is that it's just not the same experience like I'm talking about. It's not that amp in a room experience where, you know, you're cranking up the Marshall and you're feeling that cabinet, you're moving air, you know, you're just in that room with that amp and that sound, you know. It's just a very inspiring thing. It just is, you know, and that's really, in my opinion, the big difference with the digital solutions. Is you're not going to get that. It's just not the same vibe. It's not the same experience, which, again, that's a huge part in playing guitar. You know, it really should be fun and it should be inspiring, you know. That experience is so important. It really, really is. Let's see. We have DJ98705 in the house. What's going on? Thanks so much for being here. Says here, what's your thoughts on Book's gear opinions? Specifically, he hates the Flint. He said mini pedals are terrible, but then preferred the mini Nobles on his shootout, and admittedly used to hate Line 6. Man, I mean, everybody has an opinion, you know. It really, you know, comes down to what you like. So who really cares what anybody has to say, really? I mean, to me, the Flint sounds amazing. It's one of the best tremolo pedals that has come out. I think it's just incredible sounding. It's very, very good sounding. And, you know, with guitar players, it's very hard to take a lot of opinions seriously because guitar players are just all over the place. You know, you could hate something for a week, but then the next week you absolutely love it, you know. So I don't know, man. You just have to find what you like, you know. It really doesn't matter what people have to say, you know. Everybody's got an opinion about the gear, and especially with guitar players, you know, our minds are constantly changing all the time, and that's because we're always searching for that inspiration, you know. So really, when it comes down to like mini pedals, I mean, I personally don't really see that much of a point with these mini pedals because once you think about the side jacks, you know, the input and the output jacks, and you plug in your patch cable to the mini pedals, what space are you really saving on your pedal board? That's what I've never really understood with those things, just to be honest with you. So I think a lot of that is just bullshit and it's just a gimmick. And, you know, I agree. I think a lot of them sound terrible, but that said, I think a lot of pedals sound terrible, you know. To be honest with you, just in my opinion, I think the Noble's ODR1 is one of the most overrated overdrive pedals I've ever seen and I've ever heard. I mean, there is so much low end on those things, and a lot of them have the pots switched around. So, you know, if the gain pot is not right, those things can have very, very little gain. And, you know, that's why you have to be so careful if you're buying them online because so many of them are effed up, you know. They have the pot switched around or they just don't sound good. They all sound a little bit different, you know. At one point, I had like 15 of them. I collected a ton of them. And then I decided to sell off all of them. And I just recently sold off my Ram Nobles, which that was my absolute favorite Nobles of any Nobles I ever played. I thought it was the best one sounding. It just had this particular mid-range thing and had a really good amount of gain. Just the range of the gain was very good. It was hands down the best one I've ever heard. But I tell you, I think the Nobles is so overrated, man. It is not that good sounding. And I tell you, man, you could pick up a Lightspeed for $200, and man, those pedals just sound amazing, man. You could plug that into a deluxe reverb. You could plug it into any amp, man. And it just gives you this beautiful mid-rangey transparent overdrive. And then from there, you could boost it with the RC boost, and it's just a great combination. I just think, again, that the Nobles is so overrated and it's so hyped up. And that is, again, the thing with the internet, man, is it just hypes all this shit up, you know? And it's so funny because, gosh, man, when those pedals came out, I mean, they were $50. You know, 10 years ago when I came here to Nashville, I used to find them on Craigslist for $100 or $150 tops if it had the box and the paperwork with it. I mean, I just sold my last Ram Nobles for $1,700, you know? I mean, it's just kind of crazy. I mean, and, you know, I don't set the prices on this stuff, you know? That is what they are selling for. I mean, that is what people are paying for this stuff. So, I don't know, you know? I'm just blown away with that, you know? And don't get me wrong, I thought that pedal sounded very good, but man, I've played a lot of those Nobles and they do not sound good, man. They really don't. And as far as the Line 6 stuff, man, I really like that stuff, man. I think the M9 and the M5 and, you know, the HX Stomp, the HX Effects, I mean, those HX are a little bit different in comparison to the M9 because the M9 has an analog drive-through, which is a game changer for that particular pedal, just because it really feels like an analog pedal when you play it, you know. There is not that latency that you get with the HX effects, you know, because it's all digital. So that's kind of the thing, you know. I mean, with those HX effects, it is a digital solution, so it's a little bit different. But I tell you, man, the effects out of it are great, and it's very, very, very easy to use. It's very usable. The effects sound good. I mean, you know, the Line 6 stuff is cool. I mean, I think the amp modeling stuff that they did is not good. I never liked that shit. But I think for as, you know, as far as effects go, man, they're awesome. They're great. So, you know, everybody's got an opinion, man. And, you know, it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. I mean, just find what you like. You know, if you like the sound of a Nobles, if you like the sound of the Line 6 or the Flint or whatever, just do your thing, man. Who cares what anybody has to say? It doesn't matter. But DJ says here, been with you from the beginning, by the way. Love your channel. Thanks so much, DJ. That means the world to me, man. Thank you. That's very cool. And CZ here with the heart emoji and school. Cool. Let's see here. Godson says here, what is the most underrated pedal and amp in your opinion? Oh, man. I'd have to think about this. I don't know, man. That's a good question. I mean, when it comes to pedals, I mean, you know, there's so many out there. It's just insane. And it's just really overwhelming. I think when it comes to amps, there's a lot of overrated stuff that comes out today that is way overpriced. It's way overpriced and it sounds terrible. You know, these companies will try to say it, you know, that this amp is like an exact recreation of this Marshall Plexi. And it's just not at all. I mean, it just sounds terrible. You know, and my ear is so tuned to the way that those vintage Plexis sound. And so whenever I play some of these the reissue Marshall takes, they're just so far off, and they're like $4,000 or $5,000 for some of these. So I just think there's a lot of hype and a lot of overrated bullshit out there for sure. So I don't know, man. When it comes to underrated amps, I mean, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say they're underrated, but I really like what Reinhold Bogner makes. I think he makes some amazing stuff. That guy's a genius. I think his cabinets sound the best of any reproduction cabinet. They're not like my old Marshall cabinets, but I think those cabinets sound great. I mean, I have the Bogner Cube. I have a 212. I've owned many 412s of his over the years. And I just think they are the best sounding. I think he's a brilliant guy. Really, really smart guy. I also really like the Diesel VH4. I love that amp. I think that's an amazing amp. One of the best amps out there, in my humble opinion. It can really kind of do just about anything. And, you know, it definitely looks intimidating because there's a lot of knobs and a lot of switches and stuff. But it's very simple to use. It's really not that hard. And I just think the sounds that you can get out of that thing are just amazing. You know, it can really do just about anything. So the Diesel VH4 I think is really cool. I don't know if I would say it's underrated. I think it's pretty popular amp. But man, when it comes to pedals, I don't know, man. I mean, I still love that MXR carbon copy delay, man. I love the way that thing sounds. Is that underrated? I don't know. It's a pretty popular pedal, but love that thing. But let's see here. The Art of Blues says here, what are your top 3 pickup makers and vintage style pickups? Good question. Man, I got to tell you, to be honest with you, I don't even have a top 3. I don't like any of them. I think they're all off. They're all hyped up. They're all BS. There is one pickup that I liked. One. And that is the Better Bucker by Killer Vintage. Killer Vintage is a shop that is based out of Dallas, Texas, and they have a location in St. Louis as well. And I tried their pickups in just a reissue Les Paul that they had there when I was down there in Dallas. And I got to tell you, man, I definitely liked it. I thought for just a modern take on a vintage style pickup, I thought it was very, very good. My favorites still are the patent numbers. They're the best pickups by far, in my humble opinion. But really, I mean, gosh, man, I don't even have a top 3, because I think all of them are just bullshit. They are just hyped up. They're way overpriced. And they just don't sound right. They just don't, man. They're not the same whatsoever. And these custom buckers, especially that Gibson are putting on these Murphys and these reissue guitars, are just terrible. They're terrible. They do not sound good. Not at all. They're so bad sounding. But let's see here. The Art of Blues says here, awesome. I have one of the Killer Vintage sets. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, they're great, man. I think they're really good. I mean, they're the best that I've tried for reissue, like vintage takes. It's just crazy because all the vintage stuff, it's gotten so expensive now, so even for a set of patent numbers, man, they're so pricey now. It's just gotten nuts. So really, really hard to find too, man. Just a nice, clean set of just original patent numbers that haven't been effed with. It's really, really hard to find for sure. But man, we've had a great crowd here today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it once again. If you guys would like to support me, check out the links down below in the description box. There's many ways to support me. If you want to throw a little love in the Venmo or the PayPal tip jar, or even a super chat here in today's live stream, any and all support is really appreciated. If you guys are interested in one-on-one online lessons, I offer one-on-one online lessons. And what's cool with these lessons is that you'll get a recorded copy of the lesson at the very end, so you can simply download the video and rewatch it as many times as you want, so you could really retain the information that I give out within these lessons. So if you're interested in this, hit me up at jkm4231@gmail.com. That is my personal email. So if you guys have any questions or any inquiries or just any kind of anything that's going on, feel free to hit me up. That is my email. I have a Venmo and a PayPal tip jar. I have a super chat here on YouTube, and I also have a Sweetwater affiliate link. So if you guys are trying to purchase any kind of gear, whether it's a deluxe reverb, a Nobles, whatever the hell you want, you could just simply click that link down below, and it doesn't cost you anything extra whatsoever. I just get a small little commission off the sale if you're looking to purchase some kind of instrument or some kind of gear. So check that out. I also gave Sweetwater Music my top picks. So it's really a 2-page summary of some of the stuff that I really like. So check that out. And again, by clicking the link, I just get a small little commission off the sale. And again, it does not cost you anything extra whatsoever. So there's that there. But if you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to leave it there in the chat box. I've already been going here for about an hour and 10 minutes now. It's pretty unbelievable how quickly these live streams, just go, man. It's just crazy. Always so much fun, and thank you guys so much again for all the engagement and watching these videos. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up, so stay tuned for a bunch more videos. I'm going to be teaching a lot this week. I've got just a bunch of stuff going on, man, so I'm really, really fired up about it. I just got back this Marshall amp here. I don't know if you guys checked out the video for that, but I dropped in a original 784139 output transformer, and that is the original transformer that would be in a 68 plexi. And I thought it really did a lot to that Marshall DSL. You know, I just was really curious as to how close I could actually get it to a real plexi. And I've got to say, I mean, yeah, it's definitely not a 68 plexi, but man, it sounds great, man. I've got to say, I really dig it. It's cool, you know, so I'm pretty happy with that. Had that thing modified quite extensively, and just sounds like a different amp now. So it's just pretty wild. It's amazing what a difference those transformers make. Just totally different. And also with that amp, I had a choke added to it as well. So the choke of the amp just really improves the feel, and there's just a little bit more attack and a little bit more bite that you get out of the amp, and it just really improves the feel of it. You know, it's just it's better compared to an amp that doesn't have the choke. So I thought that was really cool. It was a nice mod to that amp. Really dug that. But yeah, there's that, folks. It looks like we don't have anything else in the chat here, so I think I'm going to sign off for today, folks. Been going here for an hour and 11 minutes, so thank you guys again so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. I've got a bunch more videos coming up here soon, so stay tuned for all that. And come on back and join me next Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. Thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. Take care.